Yo, what's up, guys? Alright, so kind of a post-use review. You got to see how he works a little bit in Arena. Unfortunately, it's nothing spectacular. When it works, it works. It's really cool. But then again, I don't really have an optimal team to really use him in Arena. And one thing I think he needs a lot of support. And just with the current meta, Dizzy is a problem for him. He gets hit down, he can't really do much. And Crimson Armin is another problem, because when Crimson Armin's on the other team, you kind of need a consistent strip on your team. So you can strip those debuffs, which makes Iseria, Tam, Cleaver, Zerato not really optimal, unless your Iseria has decent effectiveness to get her cleanse off, or your Tamarin on her S1. But if you opt to cleanse, like say Crimson Armin kind of cuts your team, then you are without an attack buff, and it's just really hard to make it work. I'll definitely revisit this dude again after the balance changes, because he might get a little bit better then. As you can see, he destroyed that Araminta in that first fight, and he landed a full defense break on a team that didn't have immunity. The thing is, immunity is a problem for him. You need some kind of stripper to use him in Arena. Otherwise, ignoring effective resistance doesn't even matter. So, you gotta be able to land that defense break, and my Charles isn't a cleaver. I didn't change any of his gear around. He still had his Elbrus on. He was still built as a bruiser. But you saw, the cleave still worked. Ideally, I would rather do it with BBK. I think another option to deal with Dizzy would be to run a full team on immunity. But then, Sage Bale is another problem. So, it really just depends. It's hard to make him work. I think he could work with a very specific team. And I might try and get that team together. We'll have to see what happens with ML Bale, because he's part of that team. And if he gets nerfed into the ground, I'm not going to be able to do it no more. But then again, with less Crimson Armins being around, it might be easier to use him in a cleave situation as well. So that's just something we'll have to try. I really like this guy. I want to use him some more in Guild War. But the thing is, Araminta paired with Dizzy, you can't really do much against that, unfortunately. It just sucks. He's kind of gets the short end of the stick. And another thing is, he's really stat hungry. Really stat hungry, because he's going to be taking damage. You want to make sure that he's tanky enough to be able to take the damage. But I want him to do some decent damage too. You saw my build at the beginning of the video. It's okay, but it's he's got an HP ring on, and his HP is only 10.8k, and that's not good. His base HP is so low. His other stats are okay. His base speed's really low too, but that's not too big of a deal. You don't want him... you're not going to outspeed teams using him as your defense breaker. I wouldn't even bother trying it unless you try some Oxlot's shenanigans. If you could build, maybe a double lots team, and then use double lots to push your team or something, and then burned with him, and then pushed up a cleaver and did it some way like that, you might be able to make it work really well that way. But then again, there's still the issue of immunity, so it's really hard to make him work. I think he's definitely better in a Guild War situation, but only against certain teams. He tanks Bale and Araminta really well, but if there's a Dizzy on that team, then he's not going to get any burns off of him, and that's a big problem. I just think what he needs, they need to make his S1 not able to miss. Just make it unable to miss. That way he always transfers a debuff. His biggest issue is a hit debuff. And if you stack to a 5 debuffs, they just sit there. As you saw in my Araminta video, that got a lot of hate. I don't know why, because I was just showing something, but okay. But that's just how I feel about him. He's a really cool unit, but if you're not really late game and you have time to spare like me, I wouldn't recommend building him, because he's not going to do too much for you. He's really good for PvE, actually. If you want to use him for PvE. I haven't tried him in Banshee yet, but I'm sure he would be pretty decent in there, because he would transfer the poison debuffs off of him, and it's one less target you'd have to cleanse. and poison does decent damage on bosses, so he can definitely be used in Banshee. I don't see it, not Wyvern, maybe Asmanic 11. I haven't tried him in there either. Maybe I'll give that a try. You could probably throw Ayala's Violin and let him counter and dispel the Berserker buff, so might be able to do him that way. An idea for a team comp I'm kind of trying, like, I think he would shine more in like a turn 2 counter comp, not necessarily a cleave. So if I was to have a Dizzy on counter, and then I had SS Bologna, for example, who gets a free counter, and then another tanky counter unit, like maybe not Charles, maybe like a counter Corvus, so I'm just constantly transferring debuffs, and then I have a Dizzy there to use counter and be annoying and just have her on Ayala's to constantly dispel immunities, because that's the biggest problem. So that's another team I might try out. We'll see. I think my next project is going to be Chaos Inquisitor, but he needs some gear, so I got a lot of farming to do, and Golem's not what I need to be farming to farm gear for him. So I might try him on a destruction set and see how he does. I'm kind of building one, but I'd much rather have him on lifesteal, and I'm not going to use the Abyss shit. So that's where I'm at with that. I guess I'll just finish up this run, and I'll end the video here. I appreciate you guys watching. We just broke 1,500 subs not too long ago, pushing 2K, and that's awesome. So I want to thank all you guys. If you're new here, toss me a sub. I appreciate it. If you like the video, like it, and you guys have a good one. Later.